what did you find, what is inefficient in the traditional ways of working?
So the primary goal was actually to look at current information and current awareness, what they called it. And that basically means what is happening in the legal space, what kind of decisions have been made lately, and what kind of impact does that have on our clients. And it's kind of a food chain, so there are knowledge management lawyers or professional support lawyers who actually gather all that information that is flying around. And so far what they've been doing, they've like subscribed to a lot of legal services like LexisNexis and so on and so forth, and then have gathered that information, put it into a Word document, for example, send it around, right? But interesting enough, 5 other people have been doing exactly the same, but they didn't know about it. So it was a very inefficient way of gathering information. And worse than that is that that information was then taken, analyzed by people, and then put into newsletters. So in the end, they had about 120 newsletters flying around. People didn't know what kind of newsletters exist actually, which ones are relevant to me, and there was a lot of inefficiency basically there. They spent a lot of money on creating those newsletters, and what we also found out is that clients actually didn't really care about those newsletters because they were very generic, right? They said, well, I can't say if that is from this law firm or from law firm XYZ, for example, and it also goes to the bin directly. And what they wanted to have is customized information. So how does that how does this legal decision affect my business? I want to know that. And to get to that granularity, the law firm itself needs to organize the way it manages information in a much better way. So what we basically proposed was that like the information gathering should be done using RSS aggregation, for example. So because there's a lot of free information flying around where you can subscribe to, and nowadays also like the legal publishers, they also provide RSS subscription, for example, which wasn't the case necessarily 3 or 4 years ago when we did the assignment with the law firm. And so there's a RSS subscription, and that can then be taken out and put into WIKI, for example, where people can collaboratively work on a piece rather than copy and pasting it into a Word document and then send it around. And then, at the end of the day, you have like 20 different versions flying around. So where this kind of value-added, let's say, activities take place is actually in the wiki, where people put in their analysis. And since it's an open and transparent way of working, people see what other people are actually doing, and that information can then be fed to the partners, which then take their pieces, add their own analysis, and then can provide that information, targeted or tailored information to their clients. It's a much better way of, again, providing valuable services to clients, which in the end pay the bills.
Yeah. Very nice way how aggregation of information feeds into collaborative processes.
Yeah. And the nice thing about it is that normally you would have to ask your IT department to set up like a system for you, and it takes weeks, even months. And now with a mouse click, they can open up their own system or like their own space on the system, where they then can collaboratively work together. So for example, again, Freshfields, when Lehman went bankrupt in 2008, overnight they were able to create their own space on the system, where then lawyers and knowledge management support lawyers involved in the case were actually able to aggregate the information, so everyone was on the same page. And based on that information, we're able to take better decisions in a much more timely manner than it was able or possible